Thanks Notion for sponsoring this video. I think that as someone who has a productivity channel, it is part of my mission to talk about this today. People value the hustling mindset so much now and use productivity advice as a way to fuel that hustling habit, that addiction. But we ever stop to look at what's on the other side of the coin? The symptoms that come with the application of all the productivity advice, the mind-numbing art of piling task on top of task. I want to talk to you about my experience with burnout in 2021, as well as what I'm doing now to prevent that it happens ever again. But before I get into that, I really want to talk about the symptoms of burnout that exist, and some of them are way sneakier and harder to detect than others. There are physical, emotional, and behavioral typical signs of burnout. And as I'm listing them on the screen, I'm checking the symptoms I felt last year, specifically during the last half of the year, and which opened my eyes to the possibility that I was going through something that I never went through before. Yeah, just by looking at the screen, you know it was pretty bad. I was checking basically all burnout symptoms, most specifically the emotional ones. And I can't believe that it took me so long to realize there was a problem with me. Because here's the interesting part, I was suffering from burnout for months, and I only noticed it around September, October, November of last year. And the curious thing is that these symptoms didn't appear out of thin air. I was experiencing them on a regular daily basis, but I was experiencing them in such a natural way, I was convinced they were part of my new identity. So basically, I was not suffering from burnout, I was a burned out person. And here's the second interesting thing. Burnout is often mistaken for stress, but actually a stressed behavior and a burned out behavior are entirely different. And sometimes stress is actually what precedes burnout. When you're suffering from stress, your emotions are overreactive, you are overengaged. Your actions and your work are characterized by urgency and hyperactivity. Your energy gets depleted pretty fast, but the stress that you're going through also gives you sudden rushes of energy that you end up using to become more overreactive. During my life, I was never a really stressed person. I never identified myself as a person who gets stressed very easily. And I think that's why I never considered I was even going through burnout. I was basically misinformed, and I used to mistake the two concepts. This kind of disengagement I was feeling, the lack of motivation, productivity, and this sudden feeling that I just wanted to lie on the couch and binge watch series for entire days. I really couldn't identify this feeling with anything. I just thought I was being lazy and I was procrastinating. And in the beginning, I remember that the symptom I remember feeling the most was being sleepy all the time. And I just thought I was going through basic fatigue. 2021 was a pretty intense year for me. I moved twice, I got married, and I had this whole house project to focus on. So I thought that all of these life-changing events were just contributing to that feeling of being tired all the time. The thing is, as months passed, that feeling of feeling tired all the time never really left. You know, burnout is this kind of undeniable sign that something in your life isn't working out correctly. Only after I got married last year did I give myself the time and the space to realize what was going on with me. So I tried to ask myself a few questions to get to the bottom of the problem. What was causing the burnout? What changed in 2021 that made me feel so unmotivated to work? Was there any specific personality traits that were contributing to this problem? And was I actually engaging in self-sabotaging because of my lifestyle choices? The self-reflection was fundamental for me to recognize I was going through burnout. And it's still very important because I'm still trying to take care of myself and still trying to recognize whether my behaviors and my lifestyle are contributing to this problem or not. So here's what I'm doing. I'm reevaluating my priorities and de-ambitioning myself. I'm a very goal-driven person, which I always thought was one of my best personality traits, but this year it was kind of my downfall. By prioritizing too much and too many things at the same time and too many projects, I was basically not ordering my priorities correctly. I was increasing my expectations on my work and my performance way too much. And in the meantime, I was losing track of what was important, like my mental and my physical health. I said a month ago or something that in 2022, I was going to set only one resolution or goal for myself. And that's what I'm actually doing. I'm cutting back on all non-essential habits in my life and getting to the core of my values. If I could state in a sentence what burnout felt for me last year, it would be completely forgetting my priorities. One of those values is what I do here on YouTube. I deeply enjoy it, and one of the things that I felt happen in 2021 was that I wasn't spending enough time doing it. YouTube is very therapeutic for me because it allows me to communicate, to teach, and to write, which are all things I love doing. And I was so focused on moving from project to project in my 9-to-5 job this year that it seems like I was forgetting the joy that making YouTube content for you, creating workshops and classes and coaching really brought to me into my life. Another thing I'm doing is setting boundaries. I'm so much stricter now in comparison to the last few months in the times I say no and when I actually separate my life, my personal life from my work. I'm more aware now than ever that a lot of the times when I say no to something, to an opportunity, to an assignment, to a project that someone is proposing to me, I'm not saying no to pass on opportunities, I'm saying no to be able to recharge. So when the right opportunities arise, I'm able to give it 200% instead of like 40%. I'm also slowly going back to my habits, and with burnout, I basically dropped all of my habits that were essential for my well-being. I basically stopped exercising at all, even if that meant like taking longer walks. I didn't walk anymore. Instead of reading a book, I just felt compelled to look at a screen for hours and hours. And I basically no longer cared about organizing the space around me. I never skipped a new cup of coffee, and overall, even something simple and basic like doing skincare was just a tedious chore that I tried to avoid at all times. So now I'm slowly reincorporating these habits that were so foundational in my life one at a time. Starting slowly by incorporating 15 minutes of reading every single day and doing a simple 7-day yoga challenge are things that have already helped me feel more like myself. And I want you to tell me down below whether you've dealt with burnout recently and what did you do to actually not get rid of it, because sometimes that's very difficult, but at least try to alleviate some of those symptoms and rebalance your life altogether. I think it's really important for us as a community to feel like we're not alone in these struggles. And before I finish this video, I just want to quickly say a word from our sponsor, Notion. If you're looking for the perfect software to help you with your studies and your work in 2022 or any other personal project in your life, Notion can help you with that and so much more. Notion can be used individually or to collaborate with your classmates, for instance. There's so much you can do. You can import templates, create your own dashboard, write notes, organize files and PDFs, create a timeline for exams, organize your study sessions with their calendar feature, and so much more. You can use and explore Notion anytime you want and for as long as you like, because their personal plan is literally free, with absolutely no restrictions or strings attached. It's the best investment you can make for 2022, and it doesn't cost a cent. To start using Notion today and get your free account, you can go to the link in the description box, or you can click the button that's on the screen right now. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!